everyone. Welcome to a brand new live episode of the Top 10 Show. I am one of your co-hosts. I am the outlaw John Rocha, joined as always by Matthew Knost. Matt, how are you?
Hey, all right. I'm good. Good. Life's good. You know what? I mean, not to talk about the weather, but the weather's been nice, a little overcast and cool before, the heat's coming. So I'm trying to enjoy this depressing, weather for most of the country. But for us, or for me at least, it's like, okay, enjoy it. It's another nice day out. It's going to be hot as balls in no time.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It will be. Yeah, you know how it rolls through. It's down here in San Diego, a little bit of overcast the last few days.
Mhm.
We've had a couple of days of sunshine, but now it's back to overcast, which is my kind of days. So I like them for now. But yeah, certainly it's going to be coming hardcore with that. But thanks to everybody who is joining us here. These are things we do these shows once every 2 weeks, live shows for our $10 and above patrons as a way of saying thank you for being a patron at the $10 and above level. And thank you for supporting the Top 10 Show. You get to have the topic ahead of time. You get to hear the show or watch the show ahead of time. And that's one of the perks that you get. So shout out to all the people that joined us. Josh Sachs, Mason Sasser, Robert Haley is in here as well. Rishi Chandrasekhar. I hope I'm saying that correct, man. Who else? Those are it for. And Drew Enns and Dale Varley. Lemke's in here. Machine Gun Lemke is in here, bro. So this is going to be a heck of a show already, I can tell.
Well, I hope Drew is in there blessing the masses, because I've met some of those people, and you know what I mean? They're like us. Us. Drew seems like a class above.
I
know.
above.
And now that I know he's watching, son of a gun, I'm going to have to try and not cuss as much, or that has more an effect than my parents. It does.
I can understand that.
Well, you're playing with supernatural forces at that point.
Yeah. Philippe's mentioning here, thanks for the early show, Matt and John. My state in Australia is going into a 3-day lockdown, so I need a good start to the weekend. Wow. Is it getting hairy down there with Australia and the COVID situation? Is that what's happening?
My favorite is Japan. Lockdown? Japan is going into a big national lockdown.
Oh, really?
In the starting today. I don't know for how long, but the Olympics is 3 months away.
Right. And they insist on having it.
Exactly. That's part of the headline you'll read. It's the first thought I had is they're going into a lockdown. Hey, the Olympics, and before I can even finish the thought, it's the next line of, and the Olympics are still on. Okay. I mean, I understand what they're trying to do. It looked like they were going to be able to make it. They've put all this time and money, and it was supposed to be last year, got canceled, pushed to this year. And if we push it another year, it's it's a big hassle for everybody. I understand, but you got to take into account people flying in. I mean, the U.S. State Department just said you can't travel anywhere.
Yeah.
Mexico and Canada, I believe, are out, but I know Mexico is.
Wow.
There's 108 countries they added to the list, I believe, is what I heard on the radio.
It's madness. Josh Sachs just said, Josh Sachs is I'm in Ontario, Canada, and we're in the midst of a 6-week.
There you go.
Stay-at-home order. Wow, Canada too, huh? Jesus. It's getting hairy out there. It's mind-blowing considering how we fumbled this thing, how we've come out on top, and now we're the envy of every other country, or most of the other countries who have this COVID situation kind of exploding back again in their countries.
Yeah, but we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, just in that I think it's two things: a national strategy and the fact that we produce a bunch of those vaccines, so we get first dibs.
Yeah.
And then we send out others. So we get more than everybody else. That's why we're kicking a lot of ass right now. But it's still, I'm not, it's good. And I think the leadership, it was supposed to be 100 million in 100 days. And then conservatives came out. There's clips floating around the other day of conservatives just saying, look, I'll be impressed if they make it to 200 in 100 days. And then I'll be impressed. That one, it's a congressman with the eye patch that had to go on SNL because they did a sketch that was, it was insensitive. I understand, but they brought him on and had
Dan Crenshaw. Yeah.
There you go. The clip with him was, so they made it to 200, but we got abundance, baby. We got, a cornucopia of vaccines. So that's why we're kicking ass and giving out vaccines.
They're handing out vaccines on every corner here in California for sure, but out in most of the country. So, too bad you can't travel in. You travel in, get vaccinated, travel on out. You know?
Well, now we hit the problem of those that don't want it. You can't convince them to take it. And will we hit a number that's going to hit, get us to a herd immunity overall as a society?
I love how so many people are doing videos of themselves. Like Triple H did it over the last couple of days. He released a video of himself getting vaccinated. So even in the standard entertainment you would see from a certain section of the country, them being fans of, even the people who represent that entertainment are trying to be like, take this goddamn vaccine so we can all come back and do everything like we used to and get back in the stadiums, get back in the together at clubs and bars and restaurants and sports bars and what have you. Just take this damn thing so we can all be safe. Yeah. But of course, people are, people are crazy. Even Trump's doing it. And I'm not trying to get political, but even Trump's like saying, should I do a video? They all got vaccinated. If your leader got vaccinated, you should be getting vaccinated. I don't know. It just seems weird to me.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not taking shots. I'm just saying.
There are always going to be people that are skeptical, but when you feel the fires of it, it ends up swaying others. And now they're kind of stuck in this. I don't trust it. I just don't trust it, which I understand. There should be some hesitancy in that they rolled this out really quick.
Right.
And anyway, neither here nor there. That's not what this show's about, baby.
And to be fair, it's happening on both sides because you're having, basketball, NBA players who don't want to take it, NFL players who don't want to take it because of the history of vaccination in our country towards people from the Black community. So you get it all sides, but you're right. That's neither here nor there. That's not the show. Just where we randomly go in terms of our topics and conversations before we start.
It's hard. It's hard not to talk about because nothing else really happens still.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't have a whole lot to talk about there. Shit comes up in my. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I got a question for you. Mortal Kombat came out today on HBO Max. A, are you going to see it? B, are you a Mortal Kombat person at all?
I liked Mortal Kombat the first couple that came out. I played them.
Okay, so the video games. Okay.
Yeah. So I have an affinity to it, but they've already made a really terrible movie, and the fact that this one's not getting well reviewed, although it's not getting dunked on. From what I can tell.
Right. It's not getting dunked on. There's some mixed reviews, but not.
Yeah.
It's not getting destroyed like other Mortal Kombat movies.
Yeah. It's not good last I saw, but it's not apparently the worst thing. Maybe I'll eventually see it.
Yeah.
I'm not too jazzed for it as of right now, but I watched Kong and knowing more than likely it wasn't going to be my cup of tea. And, spoiler alert, it was not.
Right.
So, I'll watch in my opinion, bad movie, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like, unless someone tells me it's good, it just doesn't seem like it's going to be, I might fall asleep to it eventually type of movie.
Yeah, I got you. What about how about my Wizards, pal? Oh, here we go.
Are you really celebrating this?
Listen, they look good. What, a 7-game winning streak? This is really good. They're beating legitimate teams. They beat the Warriors.
Yeah.
Come on. You still don't want to give them credit?
There is no credit. I've been staring at my Bulls in that 10th position for so long that it's irrelevant. It is utterly irrelevant. You're going to get smoked.
No way.
It's nice that you make the play-in game, but you're going to get smoked. You're not winning 2 straight in the playoffs.
No way. That's a complete, utter lie. I don't care who we play in the playoffs because we've seen Philadelphia implode multiple times. If we play Milwaukee, maybe that might be an issue with Giannis, but I don't know. I think we have a shot. And I don't think we're going to stay at 10th. I think we're going to get into 7 or 8. That's a possibility. I think that's still in play. I don't know.
You can't get to 7 or 8.
Really? We're only 5 games behind or 4.5 games behind. 13.5 out of first. Okay. Miami's 8 out. And they're in the 7th spot.
You need to run the table, and those other teams go 30%, all of them to jump. But primarily, Miami. I just don't see that happening. And then you got to play 2. Now, you do have Russ has been in high leverage moments. You got that for you in that 2 game. But there is also the propensity where Russ is going to be like, I got this. And he shoots 8 of 27 or something, and you're like, oh,
yeah,
that was a bad night. And there's only 2 games. When Russ gets it in his mind that he's there to play,
Yeah.
It can bite you in the ass sometimes.
There's 14 games left, man. So it's not an easy task. You're right about that.
No.
Running the table would assure it, but yeah, because there's going to be ups and downs, obviously, from 7 to 10. Yeah. Even the Celtics don't look that intimidating, for God's sakes.
No, but you need to go minimum like 65, 70% over these, and everybody else needs to falter hard.
Yeah.
And that's asking a lot. It's possible, but it's asking a lot.
You're right. But the Knicks have won 8 in a row. The Knicks are in 4th place. Good God Almighty, man!
It's
Thibodeau,
dude, it's getting hot out there. There's a lot of interesting teams, and it's tough to tell who's going to do what at any given time.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this: were you a fan of this Euro Super League thing before?
The football thing.
Yeah.
I wasn't necessarily a fan or not a fan. I understood it. Like, I got why people were upset about it. I also understand why these owners did it. Like, look, you're a powerhouse team and you have a legacy of decades. So in some cases, centuries, where your team has constantly been in conversation, constantly at the top of a league. And so you want to be in a situation where you're assured that you're going to get a massive payout and you're never going to get relegated or knocked out of this league. You're always going to be, in the league. Yeah. And after the COVID situation and all these clubs lost a crap ton of money, I was reading this morning about a French League One club that is going possibly in bankrupt because the American owners pulled out because they can't afford to fund them anymore after COVID. So when I see these clubs who've lost so much money because of COVID make this desperate move to create this league and being funded by JP Morgan, they're each getting almost $4 billion each to stay alive and to be part of the league. I understand why you would consider it. I understand why you do it. On the other side of the coin, I understand why fans are super upset about it and why these English clubs eventually pulled out of it because the blowback was massive. And I think a lot of people felt like they were trying to destroy the game. I saw Americanize the game, which I'm like, greed is not exclusive to America, ladies and gentlemen, but I understand the purpose.
Dude, I mean, they NASCAR'd up their uniforms and stadiums long before.
Yeah, right.
We've been holding off on that, and I don't mind the NBA's now. It's fine. Yeah. But if it turns into ad across the front plus the smaller ad and now everything, it looks like Euro basketball, that to me takes away from kind of the spectacle of it, the majesty, so to speak.
But and the smaller clubs. Yeah,
I do think, though, a tournament like this might grab the attention of America, your last final crown jewel of reducing all these leagues just down to the cream of the crop so we can figure out and create fan bases over here. I think that would actually work. That's when I heard it was announced. I was like, that's kind of smart. And then somebody else had called it the Super Bowl. Basically, they're trying to create the Super Bowl. Yeah. And then since heard that repeated a couple different times, it kind of makes sense because then we can choose from, but the blowback and I'm not as immersed in the league, so I fully understand when it's corrupting, because if they did that in the NBA and it's screwed over, or the NFL, I'd be like, what are we doing? Right. What are we doing here?
Yeah. And the idea of relegation, that's such a part of the football culture in numerous countries, outside the United States. So what they essentially saw was them trying to create an American version of a league, which is these 15, no matter what their record are, stay up. So it would be weird if you're like, you would lose your ability to be in the Super League. And let's say my team, Liverpool, had won 4 games the whole season. They still get to stay up. But if you're like, in 17, 16 range, you get knocked out. But Liverpool could be 20th and still they stay. That's where I think it was a bit kind of like, I don't know, out of whack. I don't mind if you create a permanent Super League, like a permanent Super League of 20 to 30 teams, let's say, and they play each other every year in the Super League, and the winner is the winner. I'm absolutely cool with that because those are the 30 teams every single time. but how do you make it so that another team that's coming up and wants to shot at the riches and blah, 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 how do you let them qualify for it?
Yeah.
That's the question. So, I mean, I think these are the things they'd have to negotiate and navigate for sure.
And it gives an unfair advantage to those teams when they go back to the regular leagues because they have this extra income to now sign whatever players. And then they're just going to be clobbering the other. They have a good shot of always maintaining being better. That's just an unfair advantage. Yeah, I get it. But I did think, it's a one way to penetrate this market.
Absolutely.
But then it fell apart just as quickly as it was announced. So that's fine.
But I mean, a couple of the clubs still that are in, I think, Spain or Italy, they want to make this happen. So obviously this is a response to the Champions League situation. Because to be fair, do you want to play on a crappy pitch in like Salzburg somewhere as part of the Champions League? I mean,
just slagging off on Salzburg.
I'm not trying to. I know people went after me for accusing some of the pitches of being dirt pitches. I get they're not playing on dirt pitches, but you could argue they are playing on lower quality pitches in some of the smaller towns and like in Germany or someplace. Like that's the issue you run into, and I think some of these players who are really high paid, millions of dollars of players, they don't want to play on that pitch and ruin their career. It's like playing at Veterans way back in the fucking 80s on that AstroTurf,
I just love that last week you were hesitant to join me in saying that potentially that Halloween shop was a drug front, and that's a fictitious idea. That's like a abstract, obtuse. You're conjuring this individual in your head, and this week you're like Salzburg. Hey, guess what? Guess where you can stick your shitty turf? Right up your keister, buddy. And Drew, that's as clean as it gets.
Well, because what you said is not out of the realm of possibility. It's actually probably more real than a shitty pitch in Salzburg.
Salzburg, we know there's an entire community around that. This is hypothetical speculation as to the individual's identity and what's really funding this. And that's an abstract thought. This is real. This is hypothetically real.
Yeah. Well, our show reaches through a lot of spectrums, so I would be afraid that maybe one of those guys working there in a higher power comes after us.
You get two Salzburgian thugs on your doorstep.
I don't mind
tomorrow night. In a matching tracksuit type of thing, just black on black.
You saying something about the pitch?
Yeah, it might even be, everybody assumes Adidas. It could be something different. I don't know.
Here's your pitch. Boom. Here's your pitch. Anyway, so we'll see what happens with that Super League, but it was certainly very curious. But I mean, the angers, Matt, really surprised. People were like super pissed about it and protests, and people like resigned their positions. Manchester United had that, I forget his name, Woodward, I think, stepped down. And he had been the president with them through all the shit and different managers. And he stepped down when Manchester United went for this thing. So I was really surprised by some of the reactions overall. So, but we'll see. Yeah. We'll see what happens for sure.
We will see.
Anyway,
from afar.
That's for sure. All right. Well, let's get into our list here. Let's talk about our topic. It's the top 10 opening scenes of a movie. That's what we're getting into today. It's sponsored by one of our Boss Hog patrons, right, Matt? Who is that?
That is Sam Fernando. And at the very end, provided he is still ready and able to go, he's going to jump on and read his list at the very end.
Nice.
And normally we'd have shout outs for today, but we'll do it next week. So you'll get it the first Tuesday of next month.
And I do want to say something, man. A tragedy happened. Jay Goldeneyes, I'm sorry. Something pierced the top of the bongos. So sadly, Matt, what had been our bongos for so long, there's a little less of a bounce to it.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
We've had them for years, Jay Goldeneyes, but maybe it was time to re-up. So if you want to send us a new one, feel free. I'm just saying.
Sure.
Shameless. I'm so shameless.
Yeah. Or you could take it to a music store and be like, can you put a new head on this? And they're like, sure, it's $8.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. I can do that.
Yeah. Well, You loosen those bolts on the side and it's a little skin and it slips off, and then you put the next one on and you just screw those in and it stretches it. I believe that's the process.
Okay.
Just stretches over the top. And then you can adjust the tightness or loosen it depending on what type of tone you want. You know, you can create this and it'll be the musical instrument that you've always wanted.
That's true. I like that idea. Jay Goldknight says, I got you guys. Don't. Oh, thanks, Jay. All right. Perfect. Jay, DM me on Twitter. I'll send you my address. You can send it to the thing. Make sure it's brownwood this time. I like a little brownwood.
Oh, you don't like the tiki type of
I'm not the biggest fan of
color hue?
Beechwood. Yeah. But, we'll figure that out. Anyway, so top 10 opening scenes of a movie, as Matt was saying, brought to us by a Boss Hog patron. Might come in a little bit later to read his list. And Drew Enns has volunteered to do the bongos already. So maybe we'll have Drew come back on the show as well to do the bongos, since mine are sadly broken by my own mistake. I'm sure I put them in the closet and something fell off in the closet.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
You know, you've had it for years.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it does get used. It's not like it's sitting in it's going to happen. It sucks, but what are you going to do?
Well, Matt, when you were approaching this list, before we start, like, what was your thoughts on this opening scenes of a movie? Were you trying to focus more on your actual personal top 10, trying to putting in some newer movies? You know, we've tried to kind of change lists up lately. What was your approach compiling your top 10 list for this topic?
It's a near impossible task.
Yes, agreed. 1,000% agreed.
When I knew going into it, I was like, this one's going to be tough. And then started doing it. Like, technically, you need to kind of think about every movie you've ever seen. Because depending on the context of what the movie is, that scene could either be bombastic and it sets the tone that way, or it's a character study of the individual. But it's a great way to introduce them.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's just so many possibilities. I went through, I literally was pulling up movies, as many as I could think of, and trying to find them across, various platforms. I mean, like, let me just watch the opening 5 minutes of this if I can. And I did that just to stack up, because there's so many different ones to choose from. It's near impossible.
Yeah, I tried to look at it with a lot of, I think I echo a lot of your approach, Matt, but I was also trying to be clear. Am I watching the opening of a movie or a great character introduction? And that's what I was trying to balance out for mine. I'm like, I was opening scene. I was trying to eliminate the ones that looked like they were just focusing on introducing the character versus introducing the world of the movie. So I was very trying to and I don't think I was 100% successful in a couple of spots, but overall it cost me to cut some out. Like, I was like, there's like 40 I could do of opening scenes. And that's just cutting it off, where you could probably go 100 to 200 incredible opening scenes of a movie, because that's what lays the groundwork for what people are about to watch. You don't like to waste the opening scene of a movie.
No, you don't. And so I'm assuming we'll probably have a couple that overlap, but
perhaps
you'll have a few that I don't have, and I'll have a few that you don't have. And, we'll meet in the middle. And that is how we do the show.
Way to go. Boom.
Thank you. You ready to jump into this?
Let's do it. Let's
do it. So at 10, I have Tombstone.
Of all the Westerns, you're going to fucking choose the opening of Tombstone?
Because also sometimes openings, like the opening is like 3 scenes in a Western to really kind of give you all the nuances of what's going on here. If we, have to introduce. So it's like, I can't count the first 27 minutes of this as the opening. It's just not happening.
Right.
So this one is just introduction of the characters in this story that I don't know. I kind of know the Earp brothers, and I know the OK Corral and Doc Holliday, but who are the cowboys? And it's them riding into some town in the Southwest, could be Mexico, I don't know. And they show up and kill a guy on the day of his wedding, and then ultimately kill the priest. And it just lays the groundwork for who they are, because it's a good point. It does. Yeah, they're despicable, and yet at the same time, Powers Booth has a certain charm, which comes out numerous times throughout the movie later on, even though he's terrible. And Michael Biehn is just excellent. He's so cold-hearted that great casting on their part. And then when you look at it now, there's so many different people. Like, oh shit, look at that. The guy that went on to be an Avatar, and then thereafter,
Stephen Lang. Yeah.
Oh, there he is. He's Ike. And what is it? Coburn from Northern Exposure.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in that little opening there. And
so's the dude from CSI Miami, who was the taller dude with the mustache who was always talking to Caruso throughout the whole show. He's one of the cowboys.
Trying to think if I've seen CSI Miami. I liked CSI, the first one, a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when it first came out. A lot. I watched it. I enjoyed the living hell out of it. But the Miamis and then NCIS, I've never seen one of.
Oh, gotcha. And I've never seen NCIS, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like Law and Order. There's numerous iterations, and people just, I don't know. It's made for people that like it and watch it, and good for you.
Yeah, I can't get into the factory shows. Chicago Fire, Chicago MD, Chicago Janitor, Chicago ME. Like I can't do that shit. At NCIS LA, CSI. Like I never got into the CSI Miami. I think I watched for half a season just because I loved Caruso at NYPD Blue. So I was trying to, like, in my own spiritual way, support the dude for coming back to television, because like he got a raw deal in movies and certainly took a lot of hits to come back and do a series, and it was successful. Shout out to him, but like I don't really like to watch those kinds of shows. But for Law and Order, I'll watch, and Law and Order Criminal Intent I enjoyed, but I didn't like SVU. That's when it went too far, right? And I tried watching the new one with Maloney. No thanks, man. No thanks. It's not.
Oh yeah, it just came out, didn't it?
Yeah, it's not. Dude. I how can I say this correctly? Because I'm gonna get in fucking trouble. But like, at some point, you don't want to watch your badasses age and see them keep trying to be the badasses they were 20 years ago. You're like,
well, unless you
pass this. Yeah,
you age into it realistically, like Liam Neeson.
Right. That's a different situation.
He's not high kicking dudes. He's not doing all that. It's more like, what is the style where you use your opponent's force against them, and it's all defensive moves, and that's more of what his is. He's just using the momentum and energy that the other dude has to put him in a shit situation, and then bap, bap, like rabbit punch breaks two ribs or something. That I'll believe when you get older.
Right.
I'll be intrigued with the next indie. I want to believe that a damn near octogenarian can do this, but
come on now.
It's the God's honest truth. I'm not slagging off on man. Listen, I've loved Harrison Ford just like you have.
Yes.
My entire life. Literally my entire life. So I have zero problem. I'm excited to see it. I hope it's great.
Yeah. Fine. Yes. Agreed.
Yeah. Even if people are saying it's shit, I will still see it. You already have me. You have me at Indy.
Yeah.
But anyway, great cast on Tombstone. And I think it's because it's a nice introduction to the only players in it that I didn't have any real working knowledge of coming into it. So
gotcha.
to open with them as opposed to the Earps, I think was a smarter choice too.
Right on. Yeah. Fair point. Yeah. Good point. Yep. What's your 9?
My 9 is Patton.
Oh, let me see where that is on my list. No, I didn't put it on my list for the reason that I said earlier. It's just an introduction to him. Right? Okay. And so for me, I just felt like that's a great introduction character, but I'm not going to ding you for it. It's a great opening of a movie.
I know what you're saying, but he is this larger than life persona.
Absolutely.
Like when you watch it, this is who Patton was. And I'm just speculating and guessing, but he thought that was perfect, except he needed to look bigger.
Probably right.
The flag was dominating. So I love the grandiose scale, but I should be bigger on that screen. And you're like, that's perfect. He believes all this bullshit.
Yeah.
And the close up of the gun with his, not inscription, monogram on it.
Monogram. Right.
On the handle, on the ivory handle, and just to see this person that truly believed in every inch of fabric was part of his skin.
Yeah.
It's 100% who Patton thought he was a living god, except wasn't allowed to exist as a god.
Right.
And that's a very specific ego type.
And it's one of the greatest speeches ever delivered on film too.
It's good. With your hands in the goo. Just so nonchalant.
Yeah.
It's not patriotic, or what is it? Is it patriotic to die for your country, or
Yeah.
I can't remember specifically. Yeah,
basically,
So let the other guy die for his. Let him be the idiot.
Yeah.
What are you going to be telling your grandkids when they're sitting on your knee, huh? That you shoveled shit.
It's essentially the Henry V speech. Like of Agincourt, right?
Okay, sure.
He's essentially delivering that level of speech, and I wonder if Coppola's ever given an interview, because of course he wrote the movie. I wonder if he's ever given an interview if that speech influenced this speech, because it is absolutely the same thing. You know, some of you are worried that you won't know what to do that you won't do the right thing when the time comes. You will. You'll know. And it's the same thing how Henry V is inspiring the troops there in the Battle of Agincourt, saying, whatsoever we're all brothers. You're my brother. I'm a king, but you're my brother because you're willing to die with me in this battle. So essentially elevating them to his status. So yeah,
exactly. I watched a great clip of an account of a speech that Alexander had to give to his troops after they had just been kicking people's asses for so long. Wow. And eventually his troops were like, I want to go home. And they started to potentially leave. And he stands up and gives a speech where he's like, you can go home. I'm not going to stop you. But then turns it on them and saying, look at the amazingness that we have created together and how you've elevated your people from this nothing to now the world conquerors. And you can go home. Go home to your, and it just boom, you by rights. But have I not entertained you, in essence, that kind of vibe of, have I not given you everything you ever asked for? And then they stayed and they continued to kick some more ass. Those speeches apparently do exist, but it comes from, accounts of a couple of different soldiers. So they pieced it together, and it was also a long, long time ago. But anyway, neither here nor there. But good speech. I think it's a great introduction to Patton, and that is the movie. It is all about this man, this ego-driven but wildly successful general.
Yes, true.
Anyway, so that's my 9.
What's your 8?
My 8 is Amadeus.
Oh, dude, shit.
Salieri, and then them finding him, and he's tried to kill himself, and they go to the mental institution, and the dissolve from there of where he's ended up in a loony bin, to why the desire and the passion that he had had given so much up to God, and it driven into his sanity, thereby committing suicide, which would violate the tenets of what he's upheld his entire life. That is the start, and gives you a great explanation whose that is, and it just fades right into Mozart, and it's this giddy, frolicking little shit, and he just didn't understand.
Fuck, it's great. I just changed it on my list. You're absolutely, it's my number 8 too.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I totally forgot about that. How could I forget about that intro? That was the intro. My dad loved that movie. Just and the music.
But the thing is, when he's talking to the priest and he's like, "Do you know this one?" It was, and then the priest doesn't. It was so celebrated. It's in Austria in its time. Trust me, fucking trust me. And then he starts playing. He gets so pissed. And he plays the Mozart, and the priest starts singing, and then finishes the line. And he's got a smile on his face, and he looks like a fucking cobra.
Yeah.
Like, what a great introduction to Salieri. I appreciate it more every time I watch it.
Oh yeah.
Just to get those performances from F. Murray and Tom Hulse.
Yeah, dude. And Jeffrey Jones.
And Jeff. Yeah. Oh yeah. But
I know Jones he's persona non grata, but he's memorable.
He's great.
Yeah.
He's great. Unfortunately, Jeffrey Jones has done a lot of those type of parts in movies that I enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a fucking great choice. God damn it.
Yeah, so
it sucked. Oh, dude, great choice, man. All right, that was your 8.
That's why this list is impossible. Go ahead.
I know, you're so fucking right. You're so fucking right. All right, my number 10 is Deadpool.
Okay, sure.
I mean, that intro for a superhero movie at the time that we were at with superhero movies, to have an intro that was so incredibly unique, slow motion, the CGI of it, the jokes inherent in the credits, and the voiceover, and then playing Juice Newton of all fucking songs. I thought it was a brilliant introduction. And it's one that I wanted to put on the list because it's more of a current movie. And I felt like this is one that belongs in the conversation of the greatest opening scenes.
1,000%.
Right.
Because this list is impossible, I didn't think about it. I thought about others within that genre.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But I was like, I'm going to try and keep it to not do, because I could do 5 over there and 5 of these and 5 of those. And it just became a lot of, I searched through directors, IMDb's and going, am I missing? What about this one? What about this one? And just trying to jog, because literally every movie that's ever been made is in contention for this. Thanks, Sam.
Of course.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Sam. It's a good idea on paper, man. It's a good fucking idea on paper. Yeah, but Deadpool's great. I didn't even think about it. You're 100% right. Deserves to be on this list.
Right. And it's the one that I was like, it's a character intro, yes, but it's more of an overall intro of what this movie, the mood of this movie is going to be, which is a very serious car accident. People are in danger, but also the jokes are inherent throughout the whole thing. And so I think that was just such a great intro. And the visuals of it are astonishing. Just absolutely astonishing.
Great way. Great use of slow-mo.
Yeah, exactly.
The jokes are fantastic, and it fully sets up the world. Once again, you are 100% right.
And this was at a time when Matt, you know, people were trying to, you know, take these superhero movies so serious, and it was Guardians of the Galaxy and Deadpool, I think, that kind of broke people out of that. And we're like, yeah, we can have fun with these things and not lose the stakes. So yeah, absolutely. Sure. All right. So then my number 9 is the opening of Up.
That's a punt.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. Fair enough. Then we said Amadeus's Wait. All right. What's your 7? But
my 7 is the Lord of War.
Oh yeah. The Bullet. Yeah.
Go
Bullet. Ahead, man. That's great.
It was such a unique way to introduce a movie that I actually enjoy, but it's kind of cheese.
Yeah.
But I think Nick Cage is great in it.
Yes.
But the idea that, you know, we're talking about an international weapons dealer, and those individuals do kind of exist, and how you get into it and then where he ends up. Yeah. But to open on the journey on just a bullet, from its manufacturing process to the shipping, like getting into the crates, to out to this, to being fired. And it's just like the journey of that. Yeah. Is representative of the movie as a whole, because this is nothing more than just profit, death on profit. And rather than focus, you know, you're focusing on the problem as much as the person, I guess, but the problem is the primary, because you may have heard a few of the players, but they're never going to loom large as international weapons, at least in my head. Yeah. Because he's not the only one. And then what other countries, like, it's just a massive problem, and he is one part of this hugely massive problem. Yep. And then the bullet is also a much smaller part of this massive problem. When you turn, you know, fucking munitions and shit to a business and you're selling them from country to country, it's problematic every time. Agreed. It's a great, you know, Nick Cage rarely breaks the fourth wall. And he does such a great job in this intro, breaking that fourth wall, looking at you directly to stress the point of what this intro is showing you, of what this intro is trying to do. And the use of Buffalo Springfield for what it's worth, which is a piece of a protest marching song against the corruption of the government. It fits the spirit of what they're trying to show you, is that, you know, these things have now progressed to the point that they're being sold all across the world. And the bullets are being used to kill kids in certain situations and all of that. So the protests should still be happening. This kind of a protest against war should still be happening. But we're just so caught up in our own lives that we don't think about the process about something like this goes about, because the person way back at the beginning of the creation of the bullet is just happy to be able to pay their rent or put food on their table or put their kids through college. They're not thinking about what they make leading to the death of a child in another country. You know, well, I mean, once you industrialize war, this is inevitable. That's why when the Soviet Union, or the Russia collapsed, or Soviet Union rather at the time, one of the first things we did was help secure the nuclear weapons. Yeah, of course we did. Well, because everything else was up for sale. There's a documentary about a drug dealer trying to buy an old Russian sub from South America. It's okay. I can't remember the name of it. I watched it like a year and a half ago or something.
Yeah.
The Odessa project. I don't fucking remember.
Okay.
So I mean, this legit happened. So and they're all firing Kalashnikovs and using AK-47 rounds, and it's just there's extra munitions, man, and it's brutal. Absolutely. But a great way to introduce the movie, at least to me.
Yeah, definitely, dude. I agree with you. It was hard to keep it off the list. It was hard only because I don't have as much of an affinity for that movie, but certainly that intro is undeniable.
That's true, but I think the uniqueness of the intro is also what elevated a little bit on my list.
1,000%. All right, what's your 6?
My 6 is Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, go ahead, man. I had to choose between 2, so I didn't.
Okay, you chose the other.
Yes. Well, I had to choose between those 2.
2 others.
Yeah,
there's 2 others.
Yes. Yep.
One of which I need to rewatch, apparently. If we get to it on yours, that's okay. Just so many people love it. I don't know. Yeah. That third act killed me. Mm-hmm. But I like it for their almost incidental characters. They are incidental characters in the overall structure of the story, but it's a nice kind of, I guess, foreshadowing on the craziness of the overall movie after this, that if we open on these 2 borderline, I'm not sure what kind of psychosis each has, especially her.
Yeah.
Because he's trying, Tim Roth is trying to stay cool, calm, and collected, and she's just a powder keg waiting to explode. And when they jump up at the end, all right, you motherfuckers, you believe it, because she's just been so like, like on edge the whole time, and it's eerie as hell as they're all right, this is what we're gonna do, honey bunny, and the calm before the storm, and know that it erupts there, and then immediately the music. And you go into that surf, and it's like, oh, perfect. I am so jazzed and ready. Just like a building, letting it boil. And then boom, but we explode into title credits. And it's just like a punch right to get into the story.
Yep. Agreed.
And we only go back to visit them sporadically throughout. And that's what I liked about it, because it's more representation of the mania of the overall, ebbs and flows of the story thereafter. And these characters don't really mean a whole hell of a lot in the grand scheme of things, but they're fantastic.
Yeah. And it's the kind of like, how can I say this? It's the kind of like nondescript back and forth you probably hear at a diner, right? Like, and then the dude being kind of a dick to the waitress kind of portrays, or Tim Roth being a dick to the waitress kind of portrays his point of view on the world, that, he kind of, he's a thief. He's a stick-up artist, all this kind of stuff, because he doesn't think about these people as people. To him, it's their means to an end to get to money so he can stay alive doing whatever, or pay whatever bills, or get his drugs, or whatever he's doing. I don't know, whatever he's doing. So he doesn't even see her as the waitress, as someone he needs to respect in any way, shape, or form, because he might actually have to kill her to get the money or whatever. But it's so great. You're right. The juxtaposition where you think in the booth that it's Tim Roth who's kind of leading this conversation, that he's the alpha. And as this pops up, when this pops off, she steps out, and it's a great shot by Tarantino with the camera to show her as in a powerful position, a strong position, and Amanda Plummer at the top of her voice with the gravelly part of the higher end of her voice. Saying that is so great. Every motherfucking last one.
It's perfect. She is. Perfect. It's some of the best casting. Because her, I mean, that nervousness and tenseness that she almost always brings to a role.
Yeah.
Here is amped up to the uncomfortable. Other times it's like, charming and shy.
Yeah.
But there's a nervousness with her portrayal on camera.
Yeah.
And just to see it used for this purpose is so fantastic.
Yeah.
Instead of the meek mouse that she normally plays.
Which she becomes by the end of the movie, right? Yeah. When they get out of there, because she clearly loves Tim Roth's character so much that's the one thing that finally calms her down eventually. And when they leave out of there, she's totally like in his arms, being walked out of the, so she's back to being the meek little. So clearly there's a lot of emotional shit going on with this woman that this guy has figured out how to kind of like work with. You know what I'm saying? So it's madness. Such madness. All right. What's your
That was my
6?
6. That was
that was your 6. Sorry.
Yep.
So then my number 7 is one of the other Tarantino's, Reservoir Dogs.
Okay.
Oh, I fucking love this intro, man. And I go back and watch this intro all the time. All the time. The only reason the other ones are higher is because I just think the films overall attach them a little bit higher quality. But this intro is Tarantino, an announcement of a director and a movie. And these characters all being introduced with the interactions that they're having about tipping, about, Toby Wong, Toby Chiu, all of that. You're getting a great glimpse into each one of these characters, the Madonna conversation, all of it. It leads to that tipping moment, and then boom, maybe the greatest slow motion badass walk scene. They're not even running from an explosion or walking away from an explosion. It is great. And that song underneath, Little Green Bag, fuck me, man. It is just a great intro. And I always feel like a badass when I'm watching it. I always get the vibe of a badass when I'm watching it. So I love that intro. And it's always stayed with me, dude. It's always one of my favorites I go back to. So yeah.
I love that intro. It's utterly fantastic. It was between these two.
Yeah.
And I just like the mania of the tipping scene and all of that. Like, no one writes dialogue like that that's somehow believable, except for Tarantino, and just the rat-a-tat back and forth and all the interactions. It's everybody knows their character insanely well,
right?
So they're playing them to a T. And then the subtle little things you learn about the movie as a whole, because Tim Roth's character is the one that tells Joe who didn't want to put the tip in when nobody else would narc on him, thereby foreshadowing who that character is. And you don't realize it the first time you see it. At least I didn't, until someone pointed it out. And I was like, oh, you're right. That is brilliant. That is brilliant.
Also, you see the alpha battle between Michael Madsen and Harvey Keitel in a mini that's going to come up later in the film, right? You better you shoot me in a dream, you better wake up and apologize. And Matt, we've been around dudes growing up. We know what it's like to sit in a table full of guys. No matter how great the conversation starts, eventually it'll default or devolve into dick measuring about a subject. Always, figuratively, right? Not literally, but figuratively. It'll always devolve into that. And it does in the movie perfectly as the conversation goes along. It's about who's the toughest fucker in the room, who's the better person in the room. Always, man. It's brilliant. I love it. All right. So then my number 6 is Once Upon a Time in the West.
Okay, great choice,
dude. I rewatched it again for this, just because any excuse to rewatch that movie. Okay. And I rewatched that opening again. Man, the guts you have to create an opening with hardly any sound. And of course, it influenced what Tarantino did in the Oranishi fight between her and Beatrix Kiddo in Kill Bill Volume 1. Mm-hmm. That whole sound is like all of that. It's just just absolutely silent. And then the train comes in. You see the flies going on the face. Great thing. The rain coming off the roof onto the hat. All of it. The sound work is great, and you just feel the tension building and building and building until the train comes and the train leaves, and there's Charles Bronson harmonica, and then of course the shootout that ensues. So, as far as westerns go, I think this is the greatest intro to a western ever, and I had to put it on the list because it's just brilliant what Sergio Leone was able to do with no fucking dialogue. Yeah, man.
Excellent choice. Totally didn't think about it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought about as many movies like
we've got so many.
Exactly. Every movie is in contention, man. So you forget. There's no way you can think about every fucking one. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, Sam. But yeah,
that's the next bumper sticker from us. Just thanks, Sam. It's perfect. Right to the point. Maybe enamel pens.
I like it. T-shirts. Let's make it happen.
The whole lot.
It's just such great. And Charles Bronson, if you ever want to go back and remember how great Charles Bronson is, watch this whole movie, but watch that intro for sure.
I think you should really phrase it as, you want to see why Charles Bronson had a career for so long?
Oh yeah, good point.
Go back and watch this. And a couple others. There's a reason people were enamored with him, and then he just became Mr. Majestic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Woof. All right. We're off to your 5, man. What's your 5?
My 5 is The Matrix.
Oh, good choice, dude. Good choice.
It's you have to set up so many different things about the overall world that are foreign to us.
Yes.
We don't know what's existing. And to see this really weirdly all black leather clad woman, but I mean, they come in, freeze guns on her, and she's just sitting at that, and it goes from regular speed to the slow motion we had never seen, and it still looks just as good today.
Oh yeah.
And just zips, and then she's pop, and kicking the shit out of all these people, and it builds, and then the release of what in the world is finally going on.
Yeah.
When she jumps off and goes through that window and then down the stairs and stops, assuming like she really thinks these dudes are coming.
Yeah.
That was amazing that she made that. But to set up the fear of, look, when you come across an agent, you run.
Yeah.
And as good as she is in these moments, she's terrified and needs to get the hell out of there. And I think it captured my imagination from moment one. It closes at the very end. It just sets up a nice opening chapter to a book that I enjoyed the living shit out of. And then hopefully the fourth one can bring it back.
Yeah. We shall see.
We shall see. Go watch The Animatrix. That's interesting.
Yeah, Animatrix
it's good.
Is stellar, dude.
Yeah.
Stellar. Yeah.
It's the best non-original Matrix movie.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. And hopefully they keep that vibe for Matrix 4, that kind of approach to the original and the Animatrix. Yeah, I know.
I know. I'm gonna see it, but I don't have much faith.
Yeah. If it gets mixed reviews, I'm going to be super disappointed, because then you're like, why'd you even fucking do it? Like, we have 2 mixed reviews films already, or
you're being generous.
Yeah, I know you're right. I'm sorry. Overly hated films for sure. But there's still good scenes within both. Obviously, the 2 18-wheelers and Reloaded, and I think the battle scene against the machines. Zion is fucking stellar, man.
With those mech units, those guys out there in the big things, and just it's pure machismo. Seeing all the bullets fly down, it is gorgeous to watch. But everything that surrounds in that movie, there's a lot. I don't want to say everything, but I would say 75% of what happens around that scene, and maybe 1 or 2 others, I just don't care for.
Yeah, the philosophy of it all, the Merovingian.
No.
All of that shit's just fucking annoying. But I've heard that they might be bringing back Merovingian. If they do, I'm going to be super fucking pissed, man. I don't want nothing to do with that guy unless they decapitate him. That's the only reason to bring him back.
Yeah.
Great choice, man. I love that intro. You're right. I remember watching that in 99. I'll never forget the experience of seeing that movie in 99, and just the whole opening of her, and then when they spin the camera around her in midair, the leather pants, all of it, the whole thing, the cops, Hugo Weaving, the green and black hue of it all.
Yeah.
Just a great presentation of what this movie is going to be about. I really, really wanted to put it on my list, but I'm glad you put it on yours, man. All right. Oh, we have to my 5? So my 5 is The Dark Knight.
Oh, that is my 4.
Okay. All right. I rewatched this intro for the thing. It's just so brilliant. It's simple, yet just full of tension the whole time. And the switch from person to person as it's all happening, and then you're hearing right underneath this like strained note. It almost feels like you're choking an instrument. Like, it's great.
That's the first thing that comes to mind, is that just that.
Yep.
It's kind of like when you see in movies and a grenade or a bomb goes off by somebody, and it's the tinnitus that you get, and but it's much lower, and it just kind of puts you on edge. The other dude, who's like the Joker, is like this weird noir character come to life, like a Dick Tracy fucking villain, and it's perfect.
It's true.
But it sets it up, and you're like, all right, like it gives identity to that individual behind this, just having this mask, and it's just pitch perfect. And you don't really know when he pulls his mask off, and just the stranger. It's a beautiful introduction to Joker, and who is the star of this movie.
Absolutely. Yes, he is. He is the star of this movie. Batman, in a way, just happens to be in it. He is the star of this movie. And the precision, and it's also a tease by Nolan of the kind of precision he is going to bring to this movie. Like Batman Begins was good. I thought there were a couple of stuff that it's a little awkward or clumsy. In Dark Knight, it is clean, and perfectly done throughout the whole movie. Him staging that whole thing so he can get to what he gets to, and then timing him pulling the bus out at the same time as a bunch of other school buses are going. Just all of it. It lends itself.
That's the part genius that stretches the believability, because then that means more than likely they have to hire all these buses. And you had to get all this because you'd be easy to spot. Otherwise, they just call it in. They have radios.
Right.
Like, a bus just pulled in front of me and it drove out of a bank. I'm at such and such. I mean, that people are going to notice.
Right. But all the buses he hired, like you said, if you hired all those drivers and all those buses are paid for all those buses,
fades right in.
It's perfect. Yeah. All of it.
That's what Joker does. He fades into being the fake cop when they go off.
Yeah.
Like it's just for whatever creates anarchy, he is more than happy to do.
Yeah. And he's really good at sliding in between things and going unnoticed to do the things that he's going to do. It's genius. All right. So that's your number 4?
That's my 4.
That was my 5. So then my 4 is Citizen Kane. Had to put it on the list, of course.
I figured you would.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
No, that's right. This one, just because of how it affects me overall. And how it intro, and look, I know I tried to avoid, I don't think it intros the character for sure with the rosebud and all of that, which initiates the whole movie, but it's also what it shows you, right? The decay of wealth, the decay of society, the decay of what was once great. And as you hear the ominous music from Bernard Herrmann right at the beginning, and you see the darkness, and it's at night, and you see that the fence is essentially rusted. The no trespassing sign is full of dirt all over it. You see the weird monkeys. You see the random canoes out there unused. You see the algae in the water. You see the overgrowth of the trees. All of it just showing decay of what was once great, which is, of course, what's happened to Kane. It's the decay of what was once great from the inside out. And as you go through level, then you go in, and of course the music builds to a crescendo of the light going out, and then dimming and coming back and then dimming, which is essentially Kane dying. So just all of it, and seeing the nurse through the broken snow globe, the idea of holding the snow globe, the quick close up into the snow globe, which of course is a nice little foreshadowing of what we're going to see the last time he was happy.
Yeah,
when he was a kid, playing out there in the snow where his mom was. So all of it, just a great intro, perfectly done, not a word spoken, and it just worked. And then boom, right into that newsroom, which doesn't count as the opening scene, but literally, it's a perfect juxtaposition. So yeah,
it's a great choice.
Thank you.
I don't have the affinity for Citizen like you, and
I know.
I would imagine the bulk of people do. I mean, I understand all the arguments for it.
Right.
It just doesn't have the resonance with me.
I got you.
It's probably because it was built up as the greatest movie of all time by the time I'd seen it, and that's really high praise to live up to.
That's hard praise. All right, where are we going, brother? What you got? 3.
3. I've got the punt from earlier, Up.
Oh, okay. Ooh, damn. All right, go ahead, my man.
Well, I don't enjoy the movie after the intro, but the intro is so good, that it's impossible to deny. In 8 to 10 minutes, with not a word spoken, maybe a small one here or there, but by and large, most people the first time upon seeing it, especially, almost break down, if not break down, when she passes away, about a character that you have known for an animated character you've known for 9 to 10 minutes and you're destroyed.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's some of the best filmmaking you'll ever see. That's why it's an opening scene. Like the rest of the movie, I don't, but that is a gut punch. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
And it still has the effect, not as much on me as the first time I saw it, but it still has an effect to this day.
Yeah.
And I mean, we haven't even, be one thing if you're watching a movie and that happens at the 50 hour and 55 minute mark type of thing. And that's why you like the movie. You enjoy the experience or whatever. And then you fully understand these characters and can identify with whatever else. And they do this in 9 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Agree with you, man. It's, and that's when you got to give, and I know you're big into animation a little more than I am, Matt. And certainly you gotta, that like the design of these characters has to be so perfect. The animation look and design of these characters as we get introduced to them as kids, and then as they age and into this relationship. And then what happens when she stumbles on the hill? We have to immediately feel an affinity for both of these characters, right? Mm-hmm. The young kid who's a little bit shy, and the girl who's a little more of the go-getter, a little more of the, the instigator in this situation, the look of the goggles, the smile, all of it, the books leading you into this moment where they're together, and the jaw and his smile, the sweet smile of Carl Fredricksen working his job, the kisses, all of it, the adjusting the tie, living their lives as it grows. And then she stumbles. And dude, I might start crying talking about it. It's like, it's so perfectly done. So perfectly done. But I think that's why it's lower on my list, because the rest of the movie doesn't live up to what you're introduced, I
think it has the inverse effect. That's how good that scene is.
Yeah.
And I don't even care if I ever see the rest of the movie. I will happily go back and watch this opening 9-10 minutes whenever you want to.
Yeah. I've told the story many times. I think it was a year after my dad had passed, and I saw that scene, and I was a fucking mess in the theater. Just a mess, because it was so real. Yeah. So real, dude. So viscerally perfectly done. And you're right. That's one of the perils when you make an opening scene like that, Matt, is that the rest of the movie has to live up to it.
Yeah. So
cool. Yeah.
That's my 3. What do you got?
Okay. My 3, let me pull it up here. My 3 is Blade Runner. The opening of Blade Runner.
Totally didn't think about it. Go for it.
Oh man, I thoroughly fucking love obviously this movie, but the intro. Just the intro, the Vangelis or Vangelis, however you want to say it, when that music hits, the synthesizer music hits, and just the eye opening, and then you see this landscape, Los Angeles 2030 AD. You see they tell you the story of the replicants or whatever, give you the background, all that, but just the opening, and then the fucking fire coming out into the night, the pyramid-like construction of the buildings, the music as it plays, the technology that you're seeing that still would work in 2021. That special effects is so great. The lights throughout the build, all of it, just the intro of walking in or flying into this mixture of essentially, what do they call it? The Industrial Revolution and technology, and the advancement of technology working at the same time, and that music just playing underneath. It's a vibe. That whole intro is what the kids like to call today a vibe. So the whole intro just puts you in the mood of what this movie is going to be about. Battling old school thoughts, old school or universal situations in a futuristic world. Like the great sci-fi does. It's just that whole intro, man. I could watch it on a loop over and over again. It's so fucking great. So
first off, I think it's Vangelis.
It is okay.
I believe so.
I've seen it both. I've heard it both ways, so I try to be like.
Okay, I've only heard Vangelis.
Yeah. So have I, but then someone said Vangelis the other day, who I trust. So I was like, so all right.
Even if it is Vangelis, I think it's Vangelis at this point.
I think that's fair.
It's like GIF and GIF. I understand it's generated image format, but we all say GIF, so it's fucking GIF. So I hate to say it, Vangelis, but who knows? Maybe you can turn it around. Yeah, but sci-fi is really good about that. It's taking a story that can fit any time frame and just putting it in a futuristic kind of setting, but it's the same moral questions that you have today, just now, it's more acute because they can hyper focus because of this specific technology onto this, specific problem. Great choice.
Yeah. Thanks, man. All right. Let's go to your 2.
My deuce is Raiders.
Yeah, I don't have the affinity for this intro like everyone else seems to have. So please knock yourself out.
Really?
Yeah,
I see. I love it. It's the action before the action that they did in that, and then in Last Crusade with him going after the artifact as a kid, and then it flashes forward when he's on the hunt for it, still onto that boat, and it's Indy is always out doing this, is what it's saying.
Yeah.
We're just along for these very specific. When he goes for the really high value targets is when we decide to watch. We're assholes about it. But the whole thing, showing up to this now jungle covered former temple, and it's got crazy booby traps. It's amazing to see blow darts coming in, the giant boulder, the floor, collapsing underneath, and there's all the spikes, and then the wall drop, everything you ever think of that you've seen in a movie like this, all thrown into one, and it works so beautifully. There's a great story from Alfred Molina about getting cast in it. So he met Spielberg at a hotel lobby in London, and Spielberg's like, I think you'd be good for the part, and it's a fun part. It's not big, but it's fun. And Molina's like, sounds great, man, because this is his first movie.
Yeah.
So any young actor is gonna be like, you got it. Yes.
I'm in.
You're Steven Spielberg. Yep. I love it.
Yeah.
And you're excited and do everything else. But as he's getting ready to leave, he's walking, out the door, and Spielberg's like, oh, hey, do you have any fear of spiders? And he was like, no. And walking out, not thinking. And he's just like, hey, no problem. And when he's at, so he gets a call, gets the part, and he's going to like fitting or something like that, where it's and he sees a dude walk past with briefcases that have, I can't remember the type of plastic that he calls, but it's a see-through, plastic type of thing. There's all these little individual compartments with what looks like hay in each one. And he's like, that's weird. And then he's there the first day to shoot his scenes, and it's on a soundstage. And they're like, all right, let's get Spielberg's like, let's get the spiders. And he sees that dude walk out with the 2 briefcases. And he's like, wait a second. And he pulls out all the tarantulas. So here's the best part of it is, so he puts all these tarantulas on. They all turn out to be male, and they just stand there because the handler tells him, it's like, they'll only move if there's a female on you or they get disturbed. Otherwise, they're just going to hang out. Yeah, they'll chase the female because of the pheromones that she's giving off at all times. So Spielberg turns to the camera and they're like, what's up with these fucking spiders? They look fake as shit. Do they not move? Let's get them to move. And they're spraying like air guns at him to try and get him to move, and they're not doing anything. So they put a female on Molina.
Oh, shit.
And Molina's like, then they start going bananas, and they're just running. So he went from they're cool, it's chill, to what is this? What is this? And Spielberg yells cut at one point, like after the first take. And he's like, Alfred, you gotta look scared. He's like, I'm scared. I am scared. It's a great. I mean, I heard that story like 2 years ago. I was like, what a great. You're a young actor. Of course, you're going to say yes.
Yeah, of course.
But I love all of it. Indy's one of my top favorite characters in all of cinema history.
Totally, man.
So it's a beautiful introduction. Even though I like Last Crusade as a movie overall whole better, I still love this intro, and I prefer it over Crusades.
Yeah. But no, it's a great intro. I'm not gonna, of course, I'm sure many people have it in their top 5, if not one intro. But for whatever reason, I'm like, it's a good intro. I just don't, feel that magic of the film necessarily the same way. But sorry. Well, like I say, I'm not judging it. I'm not judging it at all. All right. So then my number 2 is a 2001, A Space Odyssey.
Sure, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, this is my cup of tea, right? You know that, and just the whole intro of man, right? Technology, the bone, the cavemen, the monolith, and then when it leaps forward into the future, mirroring the space station, what it transitions. But it's the message of the movie right in the opening, right? Which you obviously don't know until you watch the movie, but it's the message of the movie. This idea of man always trying to reach for more, even though what they have is enough. Always trying to reach for more and essentially bringing about their own destruction because they need to have the answers. Why do we have robots sniffing? Why do we have robot dogs working for the NYPD to, quote, sniff out drugs? Why do we need that, right? It's the desire for tech to show what we can do technology-wise.
I think it's cheaper and quicker.
Yeah, and I think it's ridiculous. Man, it is though.
It is how long it takes to train a dog.
Oh, why? Why do we have to do it? Why do we have to do it? You're moving people out of jobs so that you can be cheaper and quicker. You're moving people out of these situations so you can be cheaper and quicker. Oh, you're moving dogs out of, but also the dog handler, the dog.
No, they're just going to be a regular cop.
How do you know that? You don't know that. You're
because
just
they're still a cop. They're still a cop.
I'm sure they get.
I'm fairly certain they're still a cop.
And then maybe they
take
get
dog handling training.
And then maybe they get shot on the next call instead of.
Well, if it's a drug sniffing dog, then they wouldn't have it out on more than likely on a call that's going to have active shooting. You know, they're in an airport.
I'm glad you know how the entire police department works.
I don't.
Oh, it sounds like you do. It sounds like you do.
I think this is another Halloween store conspiracy versus Salzburg being real. One, we know they use them for drug sniffing dogs. We don't know if they take them on Miami Vice escapades. I've never seen police stories that have that.
That's just an example, right? Let's extend it out. We're seeing all these Boston Dynamics videos of these literal human being type robot creatures that are doing things. And eventually, yes, whether you want to believe it or not, I know you don't, they will achieve AI and we're fucking cooked. And I'm just, once again, and that's why I like the intro, because it shows that this idea of man always wanting more, not happy with just what they have. And I mean man, woman, so humankind, not just happy with what they have, always reaching for more and then fighting to have that thing that indicates more and killing their fellow human being for that thing. And we'll always do that. And it's a repetitive cycle every fucking generation until we kill ourselves out. And that's the irony of it.
Quite possibly.
That's the irony of it. Like,
quite possibly.
We never appreciate life because we're always trying to get a better one. We never appreciate the current one because you're always trying to get a better one. And what does that lead to? Space baby. Space baby. Oh man.
Yeah, I wish I loved that as much as everybody, because I love Kubrick movies.
I get it. No, I know.
And that one's just never. I mean, it's beautiful. I love watching it, but I'm not engaged or engrossed the way that others are.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to your one, man. What's your one?
My one is Saving Private Ryan.
All right. See, okay, go ahead.
What?
I didn't put it on the list because it's a 25-minute opening scene. I just was like, this is a battle scene. So I couldn't put it on my list. But
it is the opening.
In no way do I fault you.
The movie.
Yeah, I'm not going to fault you, bro. It's a great scene.
Because tonally, they never go back to that. That shows you the chaos of everything.
True.
So because it's so dissimilar from the rest, I'm also more willing to accept it as the opening scene, because they kind of, I don't know. I guess you don't necessarily. It shows the immensity of the war and the idea of just going to get one soul in the midst of all these people. And they have that discussion as the movie goes on, and finally culminating in the earn this. Like in all of this, you need to make sure that the lives, like lead just everything you were saying before, but enjoy the life, lead a good one.
Right.
A lot of people sacrificed for you, to have this, you and your family. So take advantage of it. But the immensity of the problem, and to go from only being able to try and mentally visualize what D-Day was like to seeing something that those who were there said, that's as close as I've ever seen. And it felt pretty real and triggered PTSD, symptoms in certain individuals that saw it. Okay. But it is thoroughly gripping, immersive, and gets you right in the middle of the war, and also to see the immensity and how small one person is in the midst of this huge machine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a perfect intro. We talked about Saving Private Ryan a bunch of times. So
yeah, it's a great intro. Yeah, certainly. What Tom Sizemore goes through, what Tom Hanks goes through, getting on the beach. It was the most, and so many, like we said, so many World War II veterans we've said in the past said this is the most realistic interpretation they'd ever seen of what it was actually like. And it inspired Band of Brothers down the road. This film did. So certainly a more realistic, and that idea of just like the fucking transport door coming down, and immediately just so many absolutely wiped out, right? I mean, the whole time, just think about that. You've been trained, you're ready to go. You go overseas, you're getting in that transport that morning. You woke up early, got your food, you're in that transport, you're nervous. Am I going to live? Am I going to die? Within seconds, you're fucking dead. It's just crazy. Like, it's just crazy to think about the randomness of that.
Exactly. For those that lived, and I know I said it one other time, maybe another, but that the boat bringing them over, the APC, or whatever it's called, the odor coming from wafting up from where your feet are, from guys vomiting, guys shitting themselves and pissing themselves, because that's inevitably going to happen. I'm not besmirching any of the men. I can't imagine what it's like to be on a boat and know you're going into machine gun nests.
Yeah.
Perched everywhere. Yeah. The hundreds of bullets flying at you hundreds of bullets flying at you every second. So now those that lived, the sense of smell is one of the strongest to trigger memory. So if they catch a very specific tinge of puke smell, and it reminds them, it flashes their mind back to that day, and to have to live with that.
Oh my God.
Just cropping up, or like you go walk into a truck stop and just the worst diarrhea you've ever seen, and the scent hits you and you're like, it smells just like D-Day.
Wow.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And then you're now reliving. I was so engrossed from that moment. I mean, I'm a bigger fan of it, as a whole than you are. But yeah, I love the intro.
Yeah, again, I won't besmirch you. It's a phenomenal intro.
I know.
Just in my mind, I was like, "Oh, it's a 25." But I totally get it, dude. Totally.
Yeah, I just need another one because it's 35, 40 minutes, and it's like 5 different locations.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all part of one thing, but no.
Right. So then my one is a war movie as well, but not Saving Private Ryan. It's the intro to Apocalypse Now.
Okay.
That's my number one. I mean, there's no greater intro for me to a movie by far. Just the whole beginning, the fucking doors, which I'm a fan of. This is the end playing, the shot of those the tree line and the napalm dropping into the tree line, all of that, and then like the dissolving to Martin Sheen laying in the bed, and then seeing the fan, and then all he goes through as he's like kind of coming back out of this, and then his voiceover, all of it just kind of leading to where he finally wakes up, which is, I think it's a 8-minute intro of the movie, but it all just kind of puts you completely in the mood of what this film is going to be. And yes, it does introduce you to Willard, but it doesn't really introduce you fully into Willard until later on in the movie. But it's certainly a great intro of like this whole idea of what Vietnam did to people, this movie is going to be like a fucking psychedelic mind trip the whole time you're watching it. And it's going to feel real and not real at the same time. So it's just such a perfect intro. And again, the lyrics of "This is the end" playing underneath the whole time. And in essence, echoing that this is the end of American, what do you call it? I don't know.
Moral superiority?
Yeah. Or just the end of the illusion of that Americans are always doing the right thing.
The greatness of America.
Right. The innocence, the end of the innocence. That's what it is. The end of the innocence of America. Right. Which essentially is what Born on the 4th of July kind of tries to do as well.
A lot of Vietnam movies. Yeah,
exactly. To destroying this idea of what it actually is to serve in war. It's not as glorious as your dad or your grandfather told you.
Sad as it is to say, it's easier to fight a Nazi.
Yeah.
Than in another war, because it's a clear, defined evil.
Yep. I see people here upset that we didn't put The Godfather on there, and it's like, I get it.
So do I. I thought about it, man.
Yeah.
I got a lot of honorables, but a number of these opening scenes are some of my favorites. Like, look it up.
Yeah.
And that's not, I think it's an excellent introduction to Corleone, but it's such a huge, expansive, there's so many characters that we don't see in that scene.
Yeah.
That you need, in my opinion, if you're going to count it as one of the best opening scenes. But who am I to tell Francis? I'm not telling him to change the movie because I think it's perfect. I didn't stack it up to these others. I don't know. Yeah. It's tough. It's an impossible list.
Of course. It's a great intro to the movie. Absolutely.
Sure.
But it's not till we get out to the party, meet Michael and meet Fredo, meet Kay, meet Robert Duvall, meet Sonny. Exactly. That's more of a fleshing out. And yes, of course, as the son of immigrants, it's a great speech about being an immigrant in this country and whether you've feel you can get equal justice to people who actually were born in this country. All of that certainly. And Brando and that, what have I ever done to deserve it? It's certainly a great intro to Corleone, as you said. But overall, it's the family that is the movie, and we don't get any of the family besides Duvall at the beginning. So
you need to see that. You're 100% right. You need to see
Yeah.
the dynamic of it.
Yeah.
Because that's his entire motivation.
Yeah. Right. All right. Do we want to compile our list, or do we want to bring in? I see Sam waiting should we do our list first?
Yeah. Why don't we do our list first, then we can bring Sam in and he can tell us his list and we can say hi for a minute.
Oh yeah. Well, Drew, should I bring Drew in to do the bongos? Drew, what do you?
Your call. You're the one with the busted wing on the bongo, so it's your call.
True.
Do you want to just drum on one side or both?
Oh yeah, I'll just draw on one side. Thank you, Drew. I appreciate it though. Unless you busted out the bongos, Drew, then
Okay, so we have.
I think that still sounds good.
We have different ones, different twos.
Yeah.
My 3 is your 8 and up.
Yes.
And then Dark Knight, we have 4, 5.
Yeah. We're gonna have to do some coin flips. I think we're gonna have to do some coin flips.
Well, I think Dark Knight, then up, and then we can do some coin flips on ours.
So Dark Knight number 1.
Yeah.
Then up because that's common.
Okay. The 3, 8, and then after that we can do our 1s and 2s.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. People have coins. Do you want to flip? People have coins in the chat that they want to flip. I don't know.
Hey, let's bring somebody in.
Okay. Let's bring somebody in.
We brought Drew in before, so we'll use you another day, Drew, but we'll bring in somebody to flip a coin.
I'm going to put the link in the chat. So
the first one,
whoever joins first.
Sounds good.
That way it's not boom. All right, it's in there. If you want to join us, whoever comes in first, we'll get to flip first. I'm looking at Dale Varley and Josh Sachs. That's how you come in.
Let's do this, boys.
The bow a little bit.
All right, it's Saving Private Ryan versus Apocalypse Now in the coin flip.
Ooh. All right, you got 30 seconds. If not, we're just going to start flipping coins if nobody shows up because we got to move forward with the show.
Yeah, I've got the show's coin right here that Hasso sent us years ago.
All right, it's 30, 29, 28, 27. Oh, there it is. Jay Goldeneyes is first. Jay.
Oh, here we go.
Jay, let me take the brand down. Sorry, bud. Hold on. Boom. What's up, Jay?
How are you, bud? He's got the coin.
Oh, he's got the coin. He can't talk? You can't talk, Jay? What's going on, Jay?
Oh, yeah. Hang on. Let me I got to stop the sound on the other one.
Okay.
All right.
Stay in the chat, everyone, because maybe we'll do Jay one flip. Josh wants to do a flip. Dale Varley wants to do a flip. So if you want to come in.
All right. Jay Goldeneyes, when you're ready, sir, get that coin.
I got it.
Position.
It's a regular quarter.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
It's not like one of those fancy quarters that you were talking about with the states or anything like that. It's just a regular.
yeah, fancy. Yeah, okay, sure. I think yours is fancier at this point. I'm sick of sneak bullshit.
Jay bringing in a blue collar quarter. I respect it, bro.
Yeah.
I respect
Here's
it.
the largest creek in Wabash County on the back of our quarter. All right, I'm done with this. Can we go to the Eagle? Let's go back to the Eagle.
All right, flip it, brother. Let's do. So this is Apocalypse Now versus yeah. Okay. All right.
You gonna call it there?
Count down from 3, flip, and then John, you can call this one.
Okay, sounds good.
3, 2, 1.
Heads.
It is tails.
Oh,
booyah! Thank you, Jay Goldeneyes.
Jay, you got a weighted coin, Jay. You got a weighted coin.
Always. It's fake news from Rocha once again.
Like Dano says, it's all about balance.
Yeah, keep wiping
this
out.
Man gets it.
It's wiping out half my choices. All right, where are we off to next?
Well, we got our 2s, so we got another coin flip. So who else wants a piece?
Let's bring in Josh. Josh Sachs. Can you? What's up, bud? How are you?
Not too bad, guys. Just as I mentioned, stuck in lockdown, basically.
Right on, man.
Here.
Thank you, Jay Goldeneyes. Right.
Yeah, Jay, why'd you dip out? Jay, I wanted to keep you on the thing. Oh, well.
You got a poker coin. All right, dealer and what?
Nothing? A dealer coin.
Okay.
Just nothing.
Jay, come back in for the bongos. I want to talk to you about the bongos. All right, go ahead. Josh, so dealer, you'll flip. He's flipping. You're going to call, right, Matt?
Yeah. Count down from 3 and then flip, and I'll call it in the air. Go for it, Josh.
3, 2, 1.
Tails. Damn it!
Woo!
damn it! All
Sorry,
right.
Matt. I was pulling for you because Rocha sent out the invite this morning
Yeah.
Sure.
and said, "Welcome, Outlaw Nation."
Oh shit!
Son of a bitch!
Sorry, everyone.
You son of a bitch!
I'm used to putting things on the. Sorry about it. I've never sent an email on the
Now fucking
top 10.
usurp. Look, be on the lookout. I believe
I don't
May
know.
6th, he's going to try and storm the top 10 capital. Fucking. All right, what was your deuce again?
I
I'm
will
sorry, I'm
delete
blanking.
that post. I'm sorry, everyone. Yes.
What's your 2 again? I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. My 2, which I won, right? So I'm
Yeah.
above 2001: A Space Odyssey.
That's right. Completely blanking.
All right. Where are we off to now?
So now let's see. What's
How
your
many have we
3?
got left? My 3 is Blade Runner.
Because we don't have anything else in common.
Okay.
All right, so Blade Runner it is.
Nice.
I have my 5.
I have my 5. Dark Knight. Oh, I have my 4.
We-
Citizen Kane.
All right, Citizen Kane it is.
Woo! All right. Oh, we got another flip?
I got my 5. So you got your 5 already made it.
It did?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because it's Dark Knight. So is your
All
5 on automatically? All right. Where are we at?
I got my 6.
I got my 6, Once Upon a Time in the West. What's
All
your
right.
6?
Pulp Fiction. Another coin flip.
All right. Let's bring Dale Varley in. Thanks, Josh.
Thank
Good
you,
to see
Josh.
brother. Be safe, bro.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Varley!
What's
up,
happening, fellas?
What's going down, bro?
I love it, man. That beard is to be commended.
Thank you.
It really is. That's
Thank
a fucking
you.
man right there.
It took a little while, but we got there.
Yeah.
Well, you did. Trust me.
Holy shit. Yeah.
You can appreciate the majesty of that via stream. I'm not even kidding. I am impressed.
Thank you.
What's he got behind him? Are those the houses of Harry Potter? Is that what's behind you, bro?
Yeah, the wife is a big Harry Potter fan, so
Nice.
yeah, all my Marvel stuff's over here in the corner.
Oh, I get it. Trust me.
Well, what's your model stuff?
Oh, Marvel stuff. I
Oh,
got a
Marvel.
couple of
I said
I got a
model.
couple
I
of
said,
Avengers posters.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
So,
You each have your sides.
yeah, I have a standard U.S. mint coin here. Nothing weighted. I don't.
Nothing fancy. We appreciate that.
All right.
Guys want to call it?
Who calls it? Who calls it? Am I calling it or you calling it?
It's your turn. So,
Okay.
Dale,
All right.
count down from 3, and John will call it in the air.
All right, sounds good. 3, 2, 1.
Heads.
It is tails.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Damn, baby. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Weighted coins, man. Weighted coins.
It was standard U.S. mint, John. I don't know.
I feel like John, every time he says weighted coin at this point, he has more and more of an orange hue.
Yeah.
It's just-
Me.
we've heard this song and dance, and yet the facts say
Yeah.
it's just everything's on the up and up.
Oh,
You know?
man. All right.
That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. Seems like a lot.
I don't know. All right, Dale. Thank you so much. Have we done our whole list? Is that
We've done our whole list.
Okay.
That is it.
All
Dale,
right,
thanks,
fellas.
Good to see you, brother. Be
Later,
safe.
buddy.
Good luck in the free for all, Outlaw.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you so much. Yeah, happening on Saturday, the free for all. 40 contestants, 1 man leaves or 1 woman leaves, depending. All right, let's do this thing. Jay, do you have a bongos where you're at, Jay, or no? No, he doesn't. All right, I'll do it.
Drew
I'll
was
do
the
it.
one that said he had bongos.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I just thought maybe Jay would have extra bongos just lying around at his work site. So, all right.
Maybe.
Let's do this thing. All right. The top 10 opening scenes of a movie. Yeah. At number 10.
Pulp Fiction.
At number 9.
The Matrix.
At number 8.
Citizen Kane.
Oh, sorry. At number 7.
Blade Runner.
At number 6.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
At number 5.
2001: A Space Odyssey.
At number 4.
Apocalypse Now.
At number 3.
Saving Private Ryan.
Son of a. At number 2.
Up.
And our number 1 opening scene of a movie is
The Dark Knight.
Hey, oh, great choices. Great choices. All right. Should we bring in Sam Fernando?
Yes, bring in Mr. Fernando. Let's hear his list and thank him for
What's up, Sam?
guys?
What's
what's going on.
Doing good. I didn't think my category was gonna get so much hate.
It's not hate.
We're ball busting,
It's
bro.
just-
You know how we do.
Yeah, I
things.
know. Okay, so the way that I did my list was basically how I felt watching it and like basically how it sucked me into the movie.
Sure.
So there's a lot of movies that you mentioned, like in hindsight had great beginnings, but like when you're watching them, you won't really know it without the context of the movie. But so number 10, I have X2, the Nightcrawler scene.
Oh, nice choice. Okay.
Number 9, Baby Driver.
All right,
yeah.
sure.
Good
That
intro.
opening banquet, great. Didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
Number 8, Inglorious Bastards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number
was the other
7,
Tarantino.
Zodiac.
I struggled
Oh,
because I love the slow,
Right.
and you see this idyllic world, and it's completely
Right.
shattered, and you don't. I think it's even better because you don't know who the victims are, and you don't know who the killer is, and this is just I struggled with that one. I wanted to.
And like it prepares you for like a very like brutal movie, just gruesome.
Yeah.
But the movie really isn't very much except for the few murder scenes you see. So like you're in it like, oh, is this what this movie's going to be? And it's really a slow burn.
Well, that opening scene is so cold, and so is the rest of the
Yeah.
movie. It's like you don't feel attachment or warmth with any of this because it's a terrible subject.
Exactly.
Yeah, true.
So number 6, I have West Side Story.
Yeah. Great
That
great
prologue
choice.
is amazing.
Absolutely. Agreed.
Number 5, I have Up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 4, I did Scream.
Oh,
I thought about it,
The Drew
but I don't
Barrymore
rewatch
scene.
Scream, so
It's not my movie, so but I
Yeah.
know people love it.
When I was making the list, I went back and started watching it, and because of that, watching that intro, I started watching more of the movie. So I knew that it was a great intro.
dude, I mean,
Good
I saw
intro.
that shit in the theater, and I
Yeah.
didn't expect Barrymore to die.
Yeah.
Oh
that
yeah.
early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had top billing in the fucking post.
Yeah, I thought it was great though, and I was like, "What a great!" And then the rest of the movie to me is like, it's a good teen horror movie.
Yeah.
Number 3, I got Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Okay.
Yep.
2, I got Dark Knight, and my 1 you didn't have on either of your lists. I had Jaws.
Yeah. Yep.
It's so short.
It's so short, but it sucks you in. I was afraid to
know.
jump into my pool after seeing that. It was
Well,
so
but I
good.
think that reverts back to what you said before. I think it has more of an effect a second time seeing it, now knowing the size and scope of Jaws and what he can do. Whereas
I mean,
before, like
I
the
think
inky
it's-
blackness.
I
I
think
mean,
it's
the
a
first
great
time you
beginning.
see it, you have no idea what it is.
Right. It's a great beginning
like-
because you have no
Well,
right. Yeah.
I mean,
no
you know,
idea
The
what it
movie's
is.
called Jaws. The poster has a big shark.
Sure,
You know
sure.
exactly
That's
what
not
it is.
what I mean. I mean, like you don't see anything of
Yeah,
it, and then like after she gets sucked down, just the silence of it, and then it fades away to the beach.
Yeah, if the movie was called Leviathan and you didn't know what it looked
That's
like,
true. That's true.
but it ends up being this massive shark, then I agree with you and be like, I don't know what the Leviathan. What the fuck is this?
Yeah,
You
I
know.
just thought it set up the movie so well.
I think you're absolutely. I think what I ding it on is it's kind of a boring campfire scene.
Yeah.
And they run,
Yeah, yeah.
That's the thing. So
Like,
but
that.
once she gets in the water, you're 1,000% right because that actress who only had that scene is brilliant at expressing the fear and the horror of this thing actually happening to her at night, no less. At night, no less. And she's intoxicated. So her mind must be like, is this real or not real? What's happening to me? What the fuck is happening? Her heavy, her quick breathing as she comes up for air, thinking she might be safe, and then whoosh. It's fucking a great intro for that for sure. So,
And then Matt, I don't know if you saw on the chat, there was some hate to your number 1 because technically the first scene in the Saving Private Ryan is at the cemetery. I think it works, but I'm just saying.
You know what the chat can do? Do you know what the chat can do?
oh.
Do you know what? I think we're having
Not our
technical
patrons, not our
difficulties.
patrons.
They're not wrong. I guess in that instance, it was one of the first ones I wrote down because I just immediately went into that, personnel carrier, and I was like, oh fuck, and then it so beautifully illustrates a moment that it's tough for me to fathom.
For sure. No, I totally agree.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Awesome. All right. Well, Sam, thanks for being a Boss Hog patron, man. And thanks for suggesting this topic. We had a fucking blast counting these down, man.
Yeah, it was a good one.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely.
Later, bud.
All right. There was Sam Fernando popping in, saying hi, and much love to him. Oh, wait. Before we do that, before we say goodbye, Jay, what are we going to do about these bongos, bro? What do we do about these bongos?
Send me the color you want. I'll get you guys another one.
I like it.
All right, there you go.
I like it, Jay. Will do. Let me find. What are you on Twitter? What are you on Twitter?
Jacob,
Are you on? At
Yeah.
Jay Golden Eyes? Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. All right, brother. Great to see you, man. Thanks for waiting around.
Thanks for letting me get in.
Of course.
Later, bud.
Much love to him, man. I love that guy. All right, dude. Any final words before we wrap up?
Head over to facebook.com/the top 10 podcast with the number 10. It's at the top 10 podcast on Instagram, or top 10 show all spelled out on Twitter. And hit us up on those. And you can follow me anywhere at Matt Knost. Go and check out Settle the Score and NBA. If you're into NBA action, dropping dimes.
Yeah, definitely. You can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. Swing on over to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/John Rocha Says. See all the stuff we got going on there, all the Falcon and Winter Soldier finale reviews. We're doing all that stuff that is happening if you're catching up on the series for sure. Also, the Cinephiles as well, and the Geek Buddies, separate podcasts as streams as they are. And remember, leave a comment down below. Let us know what your top 10 movie intros are, or opening scenes of a movie are. And remember to hit a like button on this thing and share the video as well. We want to get people back, more people onto the top 10 train, more supporters and what have you. So please do your part in helping us do that. All right, we are out of here. Much love to everybody. Thanks. And we'll talk to you next time on another brand new episode of the Top 10 Show.